The path of this here, again, you want to take cover immediately, away from any windows. This is moving very quickly, 40, 45 mile per hour forward speed with this too. So it's gonna, you already see the next frame is closer to I-95 here, and the tornado would be somewhere in this region here. You see a lot of lightning strikes with it too. The wind picking up. The brighter greens here starting to approach the coastline now too. So the wind, this is the little gust front coming out of that now, and it'll continue to pick up. Right now, this wind here, very strong winds here. Again, 60, 70 mile per hour winds possible with this up and down. This is 95 in the turnpike here as the turnpike starts to curve out. And you see it just crossing over that area too, just north of where they intersect there. And again, possibly right, maybe just north of Okeechobee Road there, where the big truck stop is. This is going to continue to move very quickly. The next frame is pretty much going to be right on top of Fort Pierce. This is moving very fast, and then it'll quickly move offshore. So this warning goes until 1:30, so another 25 minutes. So this will be a quick one, in and out here. So it may get up on you pretty quickly. If your phone's going off that you're in the tornado warning, then you're in the tornado warning and you want to take cover immediately. We can see, even extending back, the backside of this thing, these are very gusty winds too. Maybe not as strong as the ones to the east, but still pretty strong there. And this will continue to move generally eastward, maybe a little bit dipping south. That's why Fort Pierce is in this a little bit more. And again, more of this may form too as we head down to the south, and this whole frontal system pushes southward as we go through the day today. So zooming in, taking a closer look here, we can spot some roads. Here's Fort Pierce here, just right through the waterfront area there, and the bridge heading over to South Hutchinson Island. Looks like it's going to head right towards, right into, say, downtown historic Fort Pierce. North and South bridges there, going to move right over there, and then over to North and South Hutchinson Island. The stronger winds on the backside of this too are pretty strong. They're going to move on in, but the tornado around this region, if it's spotted here, this is Doppler radar indicator. You see even the winds a little bit even stronger there too. So this thing not weakening right now. It's changing a little bit, and it's trying to tighten up a little bit too, but it's not really weakening, and it's quickly moving off. Put the little tracker on it here. So Fort Pierce 112, what are we at? 105 now. So a few minutes, it's going to be over. In less than 10 minutes, it'll push on in and quickly hop over the intracoastal, quickly push out to sea. So if you're in this area, in this box, let me go back to this box here. And this box right here, you want to take cover immediately. This is the tornado warning box here. Goes until 1:30. We can probably etch off a little bit west of 95 in the turnpike now that it's quickly moving eastward, and you see it here. Just back to the west, things clearing out though for you. This is where it was really rough earlier, back into Okeechobee County, so things settling down there for you. Now it's all focused on northern, Fort Pierce to St. Lucie Village, and even now spilling into Indian River County too. So northern St. Lucie County, southern Indian River County. Vero Beach is just to the south of you here. You're going to get some rain and some gusty winds from it, but the rotation and the tornado aspect of it staying south of you. And as we zoom in, so Vero is going to be up here just off the map, and you see the tornado part really condenses down into the smaller area here. And that's how we pinpoint things. We can look inside the storm with Viper radar here and see where the wind is and where the tornado may be. And it still looks pretty impressive actually here. It doesn't look like it's weakening or dying out at all. I-95 there in orange there in Fort Pierce area. Yeah, that looks pretty nasty there, travel with some heavy rainfall there. I don't see any tornadic activity on that camera, but again, driving in any of these things, not a good idea too. And what we're going to see is in the next, say, 10-15 minutes or so, 10 minutes, it'll definitely cross over 95 and be towards, say, US 1 right along the coastline, and then hop over to Hutchinson Island there along all the beaches there, and Fort Pierce and the St. Lucie Village, and farther south, Fort Pierce there right along the coastline. You'll see this. This is right around the inlet area there. So if you have this, if you live in this area from the historic Fort Pierce, that nice waterfront area, and then over into Surfside Park there, around that area, that's where you need to take cover, because this is exactly where it's headed there. Now, we did have that severe weather threat, and now we're seeing some of that severe weather threat too. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in and take a closer look here, so just so we can see a better angle on these streets here now that this thing is moving so quickly. And we're going to bring in Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel in a minute here, but let's look. So we got this 95 and the Turnpike, and that's Okeechobee Road that heads kind of diagonal into Fort Pierce here. That's this one. And the truck stop is right in here. And it's going to move up into Fort Pierce. So this is pretty much exactly where it may be, right in this area. Okeechobee Road and 95 in the Turnpike area. Quickly flipping on out. We're going to go over to Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel right now with more information on the Viper.
All right, James, and we're getting some reports from some of our weather spotters. Let's go to Betty Jones, who is in the Fort Pierce area. Betty, can you hear me? And if you can, what's going on in your area right now? All right, it sounds like we're not quite connected to Betty yet. Let's take a look at what's going on with the radar right now. And you can see this large cell tornado warning in effect until 1:30 this afternoon. This is headed right toward downtown Fort Pierce, right along Orange Avenue and tracking off the coastline. It's moving east at about 35 miles an hour. This is a very dangerous storm. And if you're in this area, you want to take cover immediately anywhere along Orange Avenue, especially east of 95 and the Turnpike, and all the way down into around PGA Village. We have some heavy rain and more storms on the way through the afternoon. We also have the severe thunderstorm warning, now a tornado warning for this area. Extends all the way up, well to the north of Fort Pierce around Oslo, and all the way down along US 1 and A1A in toward White City. It's moving east at 35 miles an hour. Now the rotation with this should be crossing 95 in the Turnpike right now around the old Tropicana plant, and then moving toward downtown Fort Pierce. I'll show you the velocity. Here's the velocity right here. So right now crossing what is 95. It looks like it just crossed the Turnpike. So this is the most dangerous area of this storm as far as the severe weather threat, and moving very close now into downtown Fort Pierce. So if you live anywhere in Fort Pierce, around the inlet, even along the north and the south side of the inlet, you want to take cover and stay there until this storm passes. It's going to be about another 20 to 30 minutes before that happens. You can see the heavy rain and the storms trail all the way back toward the southwest, so it's not done yet. But the most dangerous part of that storm is moving into downtown Fort Pierce. Very dangerous, tornado warning in effect. You see damaging winds well over 60, 70, perhaps even 80 miles an hour. So that storm itself is all part of a line that extends back now toward Okeechobee, where some heavy rainfall has started to develop. I should also mention Palm Beach County, there's not much going on at this point, but isolated strong and severe storms are possible as we get into the later afternoon. But there is the times of arrival. So we're looking at Fort Pierce and St. Lucie about 1:24 to 1:30. It's moving east. The core of this moving east at 35 miles per hour, and a very dangerous storm system. There's the wider view on the trailing end of the heavier rains all the way back to the western side of the lake. This will continue to push across the lake, and it could intensify at the same time. But what we're most focused on at this point would be that storm that is moving into the Fort Pierce area. Here's another look at it. Looks like a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, but it is that tornado warning that we're most concerned about, with the center circulation center crossing 95 in the Turnpike and now moving into downtown Fort Pierce. So if you're in around downtown Fort Pierce, even a few miles to the south of downtown or a few miles to the north, you want to take cover and get in your safe room. That would be a windowless room, lowest level of your house, interior rooms, under staircases, also in bathrooms, typically a good place to be. Try to find a room that doesn't have exterior walls and stay there until that storm passes. There's a look at it right now as it crosses the 95, and as I said, around Orange Avenue. So we're talking very close to the old Tropicana plant and the landfill, which is in this area between 95 and the Turnpike, and moving toward the inlet and downtown Fort Pierce. And more storms have been firing up all the way back through Okeechobee, but that is our strongest storm. So right now, arriving to downtown Fort Pierce and the core of this, and making its way through Fort Pierce, crossing US 1. Looks like it's crossing US 1 right now. This is a Doppler radar, so this shows winds coming at the radar and away from the radar. And there's a very, what we call gate-to-gate shear here, and there's a very distinct gate-to-gate shear. Red, when red meets green, those are the winds circulating in different directions, indication that even if there's not a tornado on the ground, we haven't had any reports of a confirmed tornado, but even if there isn't, there is rotational loft, funnel cloud, more than likely developing from this and potentially dropping to the ground and doing significant damage through St. Lucie County. In effect, as I said, until 1:30 this afternoon, tornado warn, that's a red polygon showing up. The core area here and the most populated area would be Fort Pierce, and then pushing off the inlet after that, and then working off the coastline. So that tornado warning is in effect until 1:30 this afternoon, so we have about another 17 minutes before that's discontinued. It may be discontinued before that. That is possible because the storm is moving east at 35 miles an hour, so it is racing through downtown Fort Pierce. Expect some very strong gusty winds, torrential downpours, and you can see lots of lightning strikes with this too, right over the Fort Pierce area. More storms are possible, more strong, maybe isolated severe storms are possible through the Treasure Coast, a little less likely in Palm Beach County. We got a little bit of an elevated threat for severe weather popping up this morning from the Storm Prediction Center. They placed the Treasure Coast and into Central Florida in a level 1 marginal threat for severe weather. So we still have that threat moving through during the afternoon. I want to go to one of our weather spotters around Orange Avenue at 95. Can you hear me? This is Steve Weagle, WPTV. Hello, can you hear me? I think we're still having some issues with our audio. Anyway, tornado warning is in effect until 1:30 for this storm cell as it moves toward the coastline. It's arriving to the Indian River, the Intracoastal. It'll cross through the inlet and then move off the coastline after that. A very distinct rotation going on with this too, and that's why the tornado warning was issued. As far as I understand, there are no confirmed tornado reports of a tornado on the ground, but this is a very, very impressive signature to get a tornado development with that gate-to-gate shear, so winds coming at you and going away from you very quickly, and it looks like it's right over downtown Fort Pierce and moving off the Barrier Islands. I believe we have Leon, one of our weather spotters in the Fort Pierce area. Can you hear me, Leon?
I sure can.
Tell us where you are and describe what's going on right now.
We're closest to 95 off of Orange Avenue at the moment.
So tell us what you, I think I would expect that some of the worst weather's starting to let up a little bit, or is it still really?
Yeah, we get some moments of calm, and then you get like a really heavy downpour with some heavy, heavy winds. Some thunder and some lightning at the moment, but it's, touch and go.
Right. No, as you look out the window, no flooding?
No, it's getting there. Some of the parking lots are, have a pretty excessive amount of water.
Right. Any guess on how strong the winds might have been as it pulled through?
Pretty strong enough to swing open our company door.
Right. Okay. You're still under the tornado warning until 1:30. It does look like the worst part of that, if you're all close to 95, the worst part is now starting to pull away. So especially in the next 5 minutes, it should dramatically improve for you as it moves off the coast. So that is, I'm sure, good news for you. But I'm sure, especially with our October 9th tornadoes last year, I'm sure a very scary situation for you. Did you get alerts on your phone?
I sure did, on both my company phone and my personal cell phone.
Very good. Okay, thanks, Leanna, for checking in with us.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, be safe. That storm is now making its way through the coastline. Tornado warning in effect until 1:30.
Shaved the box down, but continued the rest 1:30.
Yeah, James letting me know that the polygon, that red polygon, has been pushed more toward the east. So we're now looking at that tornado warning, really just including downtown Fort Pierce into the White City area, a little farther north as you get up around Oslo Road and around the airport. Yeah, it would be very close to where the airport is, the Treasure Coast International Airport, and then pushing off the coast in the next half hour. Let me go back to the rotation once again, because you can see that is also now reaching the beach, and I know where James is headed. He's headed to that webcam that's at the Fort Pierce Inlet, because I would imagine we're getting some pretty dramatic video of that area as it slides off the coast. If you live in St. Lucie County, it's going to improve very, very quickly as that core of that storm starts to roll off, I would say in the next 5 to 10 minutes. I mean, it's now right at the beach, right at the inlet, and pulling off the coast. Now the rain and lightning and torrential downpours extend all the way back to Okeechobee. So even once that tornado warning has been discontinued, we're still going to see some very heavy downpours, and we could get the threat for some street flooding here. That is also a possibility. And more storms, more strong and severe storms are also possible into the afternoon too. We're going to go to Kate Hussey, who I believe is in Fort Pierce. Kate, can you hear me? And if you can,
yes.
What's going on in your area?
Yeah, hey, Steve. It's raining pretty heavily now, and it's really interesting. Just a few minutes ago, the skies, you could see just how quickly those dark, dark clouds were moving across our area. And I know that yourself and James Wheeland had talked about how quickly this storm, this cell, is moving across our area. That's what I'm seeing. Really, really dark clouds. Nothing that appears to really simulate a funnel cloud yet, which is good. But I can tell you that I'm actually at a coffee shop, and everybody in this building, as soon as we all got the emergency alerts on our phone, immediately had a visceral reaction. A woman next to me actually telling me she still has PTSD from the October 9th tornado. So I think everybody here is pretty freaked out by this.
No doubt. Yeah, October 9th will, especially on the Treasure Coast, we're going to unfortunately kind of relive that every time we get tornado warnings, and that tornado warning is for the Fort Pierce area, as Kate mentioned. Kate, any issues with rainfall? Have you noticed any even street flooding or ponding on roadways?
So far, no flooding, but the rain, it's been pretty heavy in the past couple of minutes. Thankfully, before that, it was just kind of a light drizzle. So I think that's probably why we're not seeing any of that water pooling just yet, at least where I'm standing along Midway Road. But I will tell you, we've seen a lot of pretty powerful lightning strikes in this area. One just really popped off a few minutes ago, lit up the skies, again, startling kind of everybody here at the coffee shop that I am at. Really, the biggest issue, though, Steve, that I'm seeing is just a pretty steady rainfall, and then those dark, dark clouds that are moving up above our heads.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Kate, for that, and be safe out there. Looks like the strongest part of the storm is now nudging off the coastline, so more than likely, even though the tornado warning is in effect until 1:30, we may see it discontinued before that, because that rotation is now starting to pull off the coast. I'll go back a few frames here and show you where that is exactly. So the tornado warning, that polygon, pretty much Fort Pierce. Oh, there's a shear marker popping up. That's a little circle. That's an indication that there's low-level shear showing up on the radar too. And that's been obvious for the last half hour. That's why we're getting the bright reds and the greens together. But that's another indication that there may be, if not a tornado, a funnel cloud. Now, as this moves off the coastline, it now becomes a waterspout threat rather than a tornado threat, and it does look like the core of it is now just off the beach, so it will start to improve very quickly. And James, anything to add?
If you want to go back a couple frames, I think you have the Fort Pierce just south of the jetty popped up there.
On the radar?
No, on the max.
Oh, on max.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look and see what's going on. Well, okay, there's the velocities in that area. There's a kind of a better look at the line of storms as it pulls through. So it is beginning to improve slowly around the Fort Pierce area. That tornado warning is still in effect until 1:30 this afternoon, so we're going to see a gradual improvement there, but additional storms are also possible as we get into the afternoon too. There's a look at West Palm now. Palm Beach County, Martin County will also see some rainfall and the chance for an isolated strong storm. As the entire line moves through our area, we're going to see it weaken at the same time, so there's a less likelihood of it getting any kind of severe weather threat in Palm Beach County or down through Broward and Miami-Dade. I want to check in with our weather spotter in Martin County. It's Kim Kitchen, who is likely around Jensen Beach. Kim, can you hear me?
Hi, yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Where are you exactly, and what's happening in your area?
We're we're about a mile maybe south of the jetty in Fort Pierce, across the street from the federal courthouse. We're right on the ocean, Ocean Village.
Wow, so you picked up really the core of this storm. Is it starting to improve at all now?
It about 5 minutes ago, you couldn't see out the window at the first palm tree, so it was crazy. But it's still like straight winds going from, west to east, or it looks like it is here. And maybe a little bit north too. And the water's still blowing so hard, some of it by the windows is blowing actually up. So when it hits the building, it is crazy.
Yeah, you're right in the heart of this, the tornado warning and the severe thunderstorm warning as it starts. I expect it'll improve in your area in about 5 to 10 minutes as it nudges off the coastline, and the tornado warning is in effect until 1:30. So, and as I said, it may be discontinued before that. We have another 6 or 7 minutes before it's officially done, but it is racing off the coast now. And there's a look at the Fort Pierce jetty. Thank you, Kim, for that update. Stay safe out there. You're really in the core of this strong thunderstorm. There's a look at the Fort Pierce jetty, and you can see that just offshore, that's where some of our stronger winds are at this point, and that's where that center of circulation is that was showing up on the Doppler radar. Let me go back, and I want to show you where red meets green, and it's what we call let's take a look at it here. Right there. And you can see it's pulled off, and there's also a shear marker showing up, and that also is an indicator, another indicator that there's rotation going on. But clearly, there is what we call gate-to-gate shear happening here, where winds are coming very quickly in one direction and very quickly in another direction. That gives it a natural spin as it pulls off the coast. So now more of an issue for mariners, but there's still some strong winds through downtown Fort Pierce on the back side of this that will start to drop in the next 10 minutes. The entire storm is moving east at 35 miles an hour, so it's not going to take very long to get completely off the coast. And that warning is in effect for another about 5.5 minutes, and then it'll be done after that. So that cell moves off. What happens after that? Well, there's still rain and still some torrential downpours. Luckily, this is an area that desperately needs rain, so a lot of this will soak into the ground, act like a sponge, just absorb a lot of the heavy downpours that come through. Expired now. So the tornado warning has now been expired for St. Lucie County. That is that severe storm that is now off the coastline, and there's still the threat for strong and severe storms in the afternoon. We'll keep you up to date right here, let you know if more severe weather does develop. Now back to regular programming.